Imagine if you could convince anyone. Think about how such a skill could change your life. You might not realize it, but every day someone is trying to convince you to do something. It could be the guy on the TV screen trying to sell you gold, or friends who want you to go to the movies with them. It might even be somebody at work who wants you to cover their shift. Once you have mastered the ability to convince and persuade anyone, you will be able to improve many areas of your life. And if you feel like your persuasion skills could use some improvement, you're about to learn some insanely powerful but simple psychological tricks to convince anyone. Every day, the psychology of persuasion is used by powerful politicians, salespeople, and even con artists. Studies show that 95% of the decisions that people make occur on the subconscious level. So the goal here is to secretly influence the subconscious mind. One of the best ways to do this is called mirroring. And in most cases, the other person will never know you're using this technique. Research shows that people tend to like other people who mirror their body language, and this fascination occurs on a subconscious level. By mirroring the other person's posture, gestures, and language, it will put you in a powerful place for persuading or convincing them. And the neat part about this trick is that they'll never know you're using it. For example, imagine the person you're trying to persuade is standing up straight with his hands on his sides, like the way Superman would stand. All you have to do is copy his exact posture, and for even more influence, you should also mimic his hand gestures. Mirroring is such a powerful technique for persuasion, yet most people have no idea it exists. The next trick is also very simple, but extremely powerful. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever worked really hard on something about your appearance and had somebody else give you a compliment about it? Flattery is another insanely powerful trick for persuasion, and as long as you do it right, it can significantly increase your chance for persuading or convincing the other person. A few years ago, I had been lifting weights for a couple of years, and I had made huge progress from when I first started. I ended up in the hospital for a random health concern, and while putting the IV into my arm, the nurse noticed the size of my biceps and said something very flattering about them. To this day, I still remember that experience, and from the moment I received the flattery, I instantly liked that nurse more than any other I have ever interacted with at a hospital. If you use flattery with these other psychological tricks, you'll be in a much better position to persuade anyone. However, flattery can also be tricky, because if you don't sound sincere, the other person will see right through it and actually become more resistant to whatever it is you're trying to convince them of. You must also be careful using flattery on someone who has low self-esteem, because your compliment might completely go against the way the person views his or herself. Another insanely powerful trick that you can use to convince anyone is reciprocity. All humans have a tendency to return favors or requests. For example, I have an email list for one of my websites, and I regularly promote products to my list that are sold by other influencers in the industry. The influencers can see all of the sales that I make for them, and at some point in the future, if I ask for something in return, they will be much more likely to help me out. Now, if we break this down on a smaller scale, imagine you're a salesman at a car dealership and you're trying to make a sale. Doing this person a small favor, such as bringing them a complimentary bottle of water, will plant a seed in their mind and make them want to return the favor, which will make them easier to convince during the sales process. Another psychological trick that you can use to convince anyone is so simple that you'll wonder why you never use it. The nod trick consists of nodding your head up and down while talking to the other person. By nodding your head as you talk, the other person will instinctively feel the urge to nod their own head, and just the simple act of moving their head up and down makes the person more likely to agree with whatever you're trying to convince them of. One of the most powerful psychological tricks for persuading or convincing someone is called priming, and it works on a subconscious level. In 1999, a study was performed to reveal the effects of priming on music and wine. For a period of 2 weeks, stereotypical German and French music was played where wine was being sold. The total amount of sales for both wines were measured, and according to the results, people bought more French wine on the days when French music was played, and they bought more German wine on the days when German music was played. The reason why the study played out like this is because the music was subconsciously priming the consumers. The neat thing about this experiment is that the consumers were asked to fill out a survey, and based on the results, they were completely unaware that the French and German music choices were influencing the type of wine they bought. Priming is an implicit memory effect, and it consists of exposing a person to one stimulus to influence that person's response to another stimulus. One of the easiest ways to apply this trick to real-world situations is to alter the environment. For example, if you're going to be meeting with your parents to borrow money, choose a location that will prime them to be more open to your request. This should be an environment that makes them feel relaxed and open to suggestions. A few other tricks that you can use to convince anyone involve marketing tactics, and when used properly, they're highly effective. Imagine for a second that you're at a job interview, and you need to convince the hiring manager that you're the best person for the job. The scarcity principle is a popular trick used by salespeople, and it involves artificially inflating the supply of a product, or in your case, a person. In a job interview, you would be the product, and all you have to do is make the hiring manager believe that you're in high demand and there isn't enough of you to go around. You can do this easily by saying you've already finished another interview at a similar store or company and they wanted to hire you on the spot, but you really wanted to see what other companies have to offer first. The second psychological tactic used by marketers is social proof. Imagine you're trying to get your parents to loan you some money. To use the social proof tactic, you could tell them about the parents of your friends who have been loaning money to their kids because of the skyrocketing rent prices in the area. Social proof is even at work here on YouTube. If you search for a video on a certain topic and you see a video that has only 3 or 4 views, you're much more likely to click on the other video that has 5 or 6,000 views. The like and dislike bar on YouTube is another example of social proof. And you're more likely to skip over videos that have way more dislikes than likes because the social proof shows that other people either strongly disagree or flat out don't like the video. The final psychological trick that you can use to persuade anyone is another powerful tactic used in sales, and it is known as authority. Deep down, people want to listen to people they can trust. When trying to convince someone, you must make it seem like you know what you're talking about, even if you have no idea. For example, imagine you're trying to get your parents to give you money towards the car you've always wanted. To increase the odds that they'll say yes, you need to speak confidently and make it seem like you know everything about cars and the current market price for the car you want. Your parents might not know anything about the car or whether it's a good deal, but if you can make it seem like you know everything about it, it will be easier to convince them to loan you the money. The ability to persuade and convince anyone is a very important skill to have, since everything, and I mean everything in life, is based on relationships and interactions with other people. Mastering the ability to convince people will open up more doors for you than almost any other skill. As always, practice makes perfect, and the sooner you get started, the sooner you can start convincing people to give you what you want. Hey guys, I just wanted to take a quick second to say thank you so much for all of the support that you have given the channel. Within the last 30 days, this channel has grown by nearly 10,000 subscribers. And the growth has just been absolutely insane. And I attribute pretty much all of this growth to the fact that you guys are absolutely amazing. And you take the time to watch the videos all the way through and like them and interact with them and leave comments and leave your opinions. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for supporting this channel and helping these videos to reach a larger audience. And with that said, you guys are absolutely amazing. And until next time, thanks for watching.